Hello, Cancer. It's good to see you again. As I laid your cards out, the first thing that came through was a cycle, someone in your life that you keep going around and around with. For some of you, there may even be more than one person involved. There's a sense of dissatisfaction here. It could be tied to money, to support, or even something closer to home, like a repair that needs attention, something that needs to be cleaned up or put back in order. The person showing up in your reading comes across as fair and just. They want to give you everything you've dreamed of, but what's on their mind right now is shutting down a fantasy or disillusionment. I see another relationship here. Something here has been long-standing, deeply emotional, and that has been disrupted. Your person has been watching this ex character, and there's a pull to reach out, to address old wounds, bitterness, or unforgiveness that still lingers. This ex may be connected to you in some way, perhaps a co-parent, or even a partner tied to one of your children or roommates. Either way, the presence is strong. Your person has been distraught over this because they were forced to make a choice. There's history here of someone being discarded unfairly, of access being restricted, of burdens placed in ways that were unjust. I see that both individuals struggled to find a way forward. There was happiness, yes, but also pride and hubris that got in the way. It's difficult for your person who is reaching back into the past. One of them would rather avoid addressing the issue that separated them, and if they've tried to deal with it, they haven't done so well. There's also an expectation around a commitment, possibly even a legal one, that wasn't arranged or executed properly. Cancer, what I see here is a pause, a waiting. It's as though Spirit is saying through this person, I'll sit here until you've done the research, until you've found what you need, until you've gotten yourself organized and into a better place. There's a maturing energy around your person. I can't quite tell if they've been working with a therapist or with a doctor, but I do see guidance. If it's a doctor, then your person has been told a very specific truth. Something in their health or well-being needs tending to, and they must take better care of themselves. That could be what shook them awake, what disrupted the cycle of running around. If it's a therapist, then that therapist has stood up and begun showing them what needs to be aligned. One of these two people has been working very hard, carrying the responsibilities and keeping an action-based habit going. One of you has been watching the other, and in the watching, they've been gaining a higher understanding of what needs to be done. The watcher is realizing now that they cannot pursue selfish gain. What's on their mind is shutting down their own desires so they can step up and provide for you in the way you've wished. I see that you've turned yourself away from the choice they need to make. It feels like you've said, this is theirs to handle, and emotionally, you're exhausted. You don't want to be pulled into whatever they're going through because it could drain you. So even though you're upset and challenged by it, you'd rather not watch the process unfold. You'd rather see the after effects. If there's been an unjust situation between your person and their ex or something similar, you don't want to get involved. You know what I mean? You just don't want to be pulled into that energy. However, their perspective is shifting. For so long, their minds have been fixed on career, on ambition. But now they're beginning to see how unfair it has been to you, Cancer, that you've stood by them, attached to them, waiting and supporting, even though they haven't yet been able to hand you the dream you've been promised. Now, Cancer, with this Queen of Swords showing up, it's as if your person needed to hear a truth from the outside. She's pointing directly at what must be done, carving out time, offloading stress, creating better habits, and stepping up to cooperate, because they are capable of so much more. I see you commissioning yourself to take on better activities, things that keep you sane, but also bring you joy. This is you saying, I'm going to step up. I'm going to figure out what makes me happy, what makes me feel free. And as soon as I'm free from work or obligations, I'm going to do it. There's determination here, Cancer. You're ready to claim your own happiness. Cancer. The message here points to something we've been waiting on for quite some time, a relationship that needed to be straightened out. What comes through is that it's tied to a long memory, something from the past, maybe even a secret that's been sitting there for 10, 20 years or more. And now someone is finally in a position to take action, to make a correction. And then a fire sign steps into the picture. This fire sign has taken on a protective role, perhaps married, perhaps a single parent, concerned about the welfare of their children or the running of the dorm or barracks. This fire sign has also been watching what has been happening, and they're pretty upset that one party has been idle or procrastinating in handling this issue. Maybe this person lives with you or is close enough to be touched by the problem. They stood up to the ex character and said, I know you'll be upset with me, but I can handle that. So I'm just going to say what I need to say. We are not in agreement in how you've handled this problem. You need to get on this issue and fix it. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And if the responsibility lies with you to work on, then it's yours to work. Now, get to work. For some of you, Cancer, this also looks like they are putting their foot down saying, I've been waiting and waiting for you to fix this problem. And now, whether it's through a hospital, an organization, or a plan they've committed to, they are motivated to get it done. The cards show everyone all sitting here, waiting for test results, waiting to see what happens next. And here's the subtle truth. You've been with this person long enough to know their habits. You've stretched your trust, watching to see if they'll follow through. And while they haven't yet shown bravery or a full commitment to health and healing, the cards suggest that this is the very edge they're standing on now, the choice to finally step into that responsibility. Cancer. What I see here is a web of connections, unfinished business, choices that weigh heavy, and the presence of pride and justice intertwined. The cards are asking you to notice where cycles repeat and where healing conversations have been avoided for too long. For those of you who've been waiting for others to reach out, maybe even someone slipping into a bit of isolation, the cards show that as you step into the weekend, more insight begins to flow in. There's the promise of a new project, something with real potential, and it looks like you'll be taking full reign of it yourself, not necessarily joining with others, but standing in your own authority. I also see a Leo energy here, but in reverse. They come in with the Ten of Swords, a painful communication, perhaps even a confession. It looks like your person may have had to reveal something difficult, maybe tied to their childhood or past actions. To me, it reads as a confession of sorts, something heavy that needed to be spoken aloud. I keep seeing the Nine of Pentacles and then again the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. This could point to someone wanting to sell a house or shift something foundational. Then the Two of Cups appears upright alongside the Knight of Cups. This feels like a proposal, an offer, someone asking for connection. And with the Queen of Pentacles showing up, Cancer, this person has everything you would need. She may be coming in with a genuine offer, something solid and nurturing. For some of you, this could even involve distance from family. The Ten of Cups upright suggests reunion, joy, and emotional fulfillment. And I can't ignore that the Emperor has shown up 3 times. An authority structure, someone stepping into their power. In the past position, I see Temperance reversed, which could point to a Sagittarius influence, or simply a lack of balance that has now pushed things to this moment of decision. Twice the Knight of Cups appears, reinforcing this as a Two of Cups conversation with 2 people sitting down. One saying, I've been preparing. I'm ready to take my pentacles, step out into the world and create something. Will you join me? For some, this could even be a family member extending an invitation. Here's a plane ticket. Come see us for the holidays. Totally unexpected, and it throws your person off balance. They're sitting there thinking all I do is work, and now I'm being told by doctors, by therapists, that I need to take time off. Meanwhile, you've been wanting to move forward, to get yourself into a solid position, but perhaps the person you're attached to has carried darker attitudes, heavy attitudes, burdens that weigh the space down. Yet here comes this new plan, this new offer, and it places you in a position of standing solo, strong on your own. The Queen of Pentacles here is powerful, and behind her is a mountain she's already crossed. She knows how to climb, how to cross rivers, how to build a city, even an empire. When she comes in, she identifies you, Cancer, and she's serious about it. For some of you, she can see your talents. This could involve healing practices, Reiki, meditation, or even creative crafts. I see mandalas, dream catchers, embroidery, something handmade and beautiful hanging in the light. This feels like the development of a long-held wish, something you've wanted for quite some time, but the person you've been with, they weren't able to meet it. And now, the cards show someone genuine stepping forward, offering you a path that feels aligned, creative, and free. Cancer, your person is still preoccupied in their mind with this other Two of Cups connection. They're in distress over what was lost and the poor decision that went along with it. Even though they're being challenged, I see the King of Wands upright and showing that they're trying to clean up their lane, perhaps even considering reaching out to someone they haven't spoken to in a long time. This could be a request for a visit, a sit down, or even an attempt to create a fresh start. But they're nervous like a cat, because they don't really want to move forward. They're hung up, haunted by memories and dreams from the past. They thought they were free and clear, but they're not, and this may even be a pattern, a habit of theirs, one they now recognize must change. Meanwhile, back in your energy, Cancer, I see you receiving a beautiful offer. You're stepping up and saying, all right, you've got your King of Wands business to sort out over there, but I've just been handed this King of Wands energy right here, and it's exactly what I wanted all along. Even though your person couldn't provide it after all this time, it seems to arrive almost magically. The one speaking with you shares their dream, explaining how they tried to make it work with others, but it never came together. They've been waiting for the right partner. For some of you, especially those in the military or working long hours, I also see burdens around transportation. It may be car trouble with your person that pulled you in, adding stress. You've tried to help, but they won't listen, and it's driven you to silence. But this new person, Cancer, the one who comes in to talk collaboration, they're different. They've tried with others, but those others gave up. Maybe they were dreamers, encouragers, nurturers, but not workers. And this Queen of Pentacles energy that's speaking with you, she needed someone who could actually build, someone who could put in the work. Cancer.